reward here, honestly. It's going to be difficult to get back together. There's potential that Sue can take some vehicles, take a boat back around towards them, but by then you have delayed your rotation by a ton. For Falcons, on the other hand, no hot drop over towards there. Though my main takeaway from this game is because it's such a southern playing path, it doesn't really tell us too much about the drop spots, because these were a lot of backups being used.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. It's a good point to keep in mind, obviously, in terms of how it's going to affect things here. Give us some different results over the course of the day.
I was stressing going into the next match. They're like, do we want to drop Yas now?
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's the awkward part. Because obviously, once it kind of is forgivable and it feels a bit rough and you can fix it, the second time it happens, that's when it is instantly like, we're at the halfway point of the day, boys. Like, it's already creeped up on us, you know?
How do you fix this? You have to get the screwdriver and kit out, figure out where the loose screw is.
I suppose at least the only blessing, like Max was saying, there is a decent gap. If you look towards, obviously, what, 6th upwards, it's not that much of a difference with points, right? So, like, obviously, if you just actually start to build your way back in, everyone else doesn't have a crazy spread, then maybe it's not the end of the world. But the likelihood of that obviously has a lot of bells and whistles attached to it.
Yeah, and as we know, Jackie, for the group stage we're starting off with, it really isn't that unforgivable to go down too early. We're going to get 8 teams going through towards straight through, and then we have 8 teams going through to the survival stage, battling it out. Right, that's what we want to see here. So there is still a lot of chance for our squads to remain in this one for a long, long time. So it will be 16 teams in that survival stage. 8 of our top teams will be heading straight through towards those finals we'll be playing later. So we won't really see any teams or their keys being crushed until after that survival stage.
Yeah, you've got to wait for the spectacle. Like Barney was teasing, when the iris opens, sparks will be flying. So you won't want to miss that as the action develops here. I was kind of hoping a little bit, actually, we would get a run-in between these two with how good Yangon Galacticus looked into the previous matchup with Alpha 7 on the roam over. And it's DRX in the back line, so potential for the rotates in actually being quite spicy when the fights break out.
Yangon Galacticus pretty close towards what I would say is a fairly central position. Now roaming around towards gas station, and that side of the map pretty barren. Over towards the pizza slice that just sits on the northwest side of the map, which is very, very open. You don't really want to play around there. Always do find that cross from shooting range off to that eastern side is a bit more awkward, which is why you're seeing much more teams down towards that southeast around Yasnaya. And staying far enough away from the field. So there's a lot of treacherous zones here that you don't really want to go into. I'm sort of surprised we don't have any teams trying to bank over towards Rozok. I guess for Regnum Karya, they're keeping a player back in wild so he can quickly dash back over towards Rozok if needs be.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see, though. Let's see what this is going to do in terms of the shift. And how the zone rotate will affect things. Blank, obviously, favours more central overall. Actually not too bad, really, especially in terms of the group that you've got there. So DRX still being able to play on the outer edge, everyone else making their move in. Falcons, obviously, slight adjustment there. Pachinki, obviously, open entirely as well. So we're regrouping up. It's a late rotate in through the blue for Weebu, and they'll have their focus in on a little bit of a late joining.
I think, honestly, they'll be circled pretty rough. You have the entirety of the fields right here on the map, which is just bare open ground, and then the pizza slice I was talking about earlier, which is on that southwest side of Stalba, where the 2 roads make that kind of triangle slice. That is fairly open too. So this is pretty tough for a lot of teams to remain, and I would probably bank on at least 2 or 3 teams going down over the course of the next circle, maybe circle and a half.
Definitely a lot of potential. Not much cover to play with, limited opportunities for the compound, so fights could be coming your way.
Absolutely, you're right. Team Falcons down towards the southwest edge. Like you said, Chinky was free as they'd left it quite early, but they're going to have to get past school right now. They're over towards apartments. little bit more difficult to see because we are cramming 15 teams into a small space because they're all avoiding that fielded area. They're trying to take up space around some of this remaining compounds. You have the river that cuts through into the lake. It's a weird circle. It's a very weird circle. I do like this position DRX has, though Alpha 7 is waiting in the wings. Mafioso underneath. This typically is a really good spot to catch teams playing on those outer shacks and outposts just over towards the western side of Yasnaya on the lake. You can control a lot of area from this top side. Now, how will DRX handle Alpha 7 though? Because the rest of the team is making their way on over with Cleo, Squash, and Revo just off towards the west.
It's Mafioso just playing on the lip here of the rock face. He's had the vehicles approaching, the engine giving that away. Just tucks in, has to play on the off angle realistically. If they peek into him, he seems like he's got a good read on the situation at least, but spacing from the teammates relatively far. DRX trying to get a lay of the land, assess if anyone else is coming in from the other side. Didn't actually find him. He pushed up towards the rock face as well on the peak. He leaned in for it, but neither one gave away the info fully. So obviously it's just the audio he's playing off for now, staying tucked in. If they push ahead of him, could backstab them really nicely.
They have no idea. They're properly confused on what's occurring. We're going to get our next circle. And it wasn't as treacherous as I thought it was going to be. This one is going to push a lot of teams away from the field, at least from Yasnaya, so teams could be happy about that, but it's across the river. Jackie, over towards AX, E-Arena. Weibo's made a good wrap, actually, as well, over towards this north side. They are coming through that open ground, and Alpha 7 could chime in over towards that western side. We'll see how it happens, but Alpha 7 is so focused on taking over towards DRX, but DRX is left.
Join now with Alpha 7's POV straight back in. And this is what you were saying, the rotate over there, taking shots from the back line. Squash, we know that he can be talented. And unloading at the minute, snapshots over the top just as they tuck into the compound. A lot of chip damage onto them. Yeah, massively so. And you can follow up from it as well. I mean, Order in a horrific position. They just keep finding these knocks. Late game rotate, like it's been nice for them, but it results in this.
That's an important knock over towards Yangon. Galacticos coming through from RCB. But Weibo Gaming can get themselves back up. This is a Hail Mary of a play, Jackie, all right? In terms of where they are on the map, it's very, very central. They'll take the Wizard Tower here, which works out nicely. But they basically need to hold this position for the rest of the game. The vehicles are shot to bits. The tires are going to be all popped by the time they get out to them. So Weibo Gaming is not moving. At least not until the end game.
No. Well, what are you doing? Mate, you actually made it in. Oh, it couldn't have been better timing on it. Straight Benny Hills out up the stairs, wanting to get himself into the high ground.
This is a risky play.
No, there's no
one there to help him.
He just went for it.
It's like, we need the high ground. Yeah. We need to play up the high ground.
I've got to go.
I've got to go. I've got to go.
I've got to go. And he did. Go, he did.
Yeah. So that was literally a player. I guess the reason they do it is that making that play later, you're going to have 3 or 4 teams looking at you. So this was the only time to do it. Respect the fact that, you know, when it's crunch time, they're ready to play inside the crunch.
I mean, like, honestly, they've been kind of subverting expectations already with this matchup, even if it hasn't been just off the back like, oh, we're seeing some crazy gun skill. They're keeping you guessing a little bit, which at times, thriving in the chaos, can be incredibly beneficial. Seems like non-ship Red Force taking a knock there, though. We've got a bit of a follow-up as well, with AX getting thrown into the fight. Falcons, of course, here, having a whole load of shrapnel thrown towards them. Narvalo is down. Still in a position where he could tuck around the back of the stairs and be saved, at least. Arian trying to just throw out some bullets to keep them guessing. Does he actually want to push up? It's a nice nade over towards where Koa is. Cook this one perfectly. Chuck it in top.
Oh, it's pretty nice, actually, yeah. I think for AX, they're way more concerned about this next circle. Jackie, the amount of water in this is staggering, only for it to be over towards that southeast side with the fields.
Yeah, That's a ridiculous body of water. You think about the limited amount of space you've actually got to play with in the zone because of this. Okay. I mean, this has already been a bit of a cheeky one, Lang. So let's see where it goes. Nongshim Red Force here, just eating bullets, trying to use the water as some sort of additional cover to work with, throw it off, but no. I mean, Alpha 7, eyes like a hawk at the minute, dialing onto them. We do say goodbye to another one of our squads here. Going out second, of course, with Power Game will be the only full wipe that we had way back at the start of the game. That's why there's so many teams still in play here this late into the matchup.
And this is a really interesting position from Regnum Kaya, where they're underneath the bridge right now. They're playing the bridge, but the fact that no other team has really challenged that position as well is a staggering thought to me, honestly, because a lot of times you'll have teams on either side. So Regnum Kaya to hold this, it doesn't seem like the best position in the world to be literally on the iron girders underneath there. But it does keep you alive a long, long time. Doesn't always necessarily give you the winning position of the game, but I think for a lot of teams, survival is quite important in this particular match with this kind of circle.
Okay, here's two names we haven't had to say too much during this matchup, but of course were very prevalent in our first outing of the day. You've got 4 Fribes and also Vision. They're both fighting down towards the outskirts. Similar kind of setup here, actually, with some of the teams that could be going head-to-head relatively soon. AX on the force down with E-Arena coming in from the back line. Henry might get caught. And you've got Falcons that will be waiting in the wings as they get lower down towards the roadside as well, with Vision onto them. Oh dear, Blank. Potential for some interesting little bouts here. It's a wide spread, though, from the arena. So they've got a lot of a lay of the land onto it. They can try and get a bit of vision onto the backside with DRX and Alpha 7.
He can't really afford to play anything too close here for E-Arena, because the space is just absolutely diabolical to play in. IQ, very, very good player. Been playing for a long, long time. Smart guy, hence the name. Looking to lead for Thrives. Towards a victorious push here versus Vision. They already find some good damage over their way. He's slowing it down. He's running circles around them. Vision realistically just have not had an opportunity to move too much over the course of the past few minutes. We'll come back to that for as it's DRX. They've got the opening chicken dinner of the day. Now they're just being given an explosive breakfast with Nitro being thrown their way. Nade after nade on top. Weibo as well, still being able to get stuck into the fight from the side as the bullets hit. Hyunbin on the nade back, good for one, but he's got a full army coming his way. I mean, this is E-Arena, the wall of smokes in front of him, effectively just him left. Everyone else has been taken out, so DRX, if they want to get the back-to-back wins, it would need to be an unbelievable effort just from Hyunbin with an awful lot to get done. Yeah, he's in a bit of a struggle position. Luckily for him, E-Arena is getting walloped from the sidelines. Oh, what a problematic smoke there. Dissipates, and his eyebrows raise and are visible to E-Arena. Falcons somehow make their way in front of AX here, which is nice, and obviously take out the opposition, but what a disgusting circle this is. All lake, all field. Fireflux currently holding down towards Vision and 4 Thrive, so even if one of those teams gets away with their life, they're still going to have to deal with shots coming through. But Vision actually able to sneak on past using that ridgeline on the west towards the roadside to make that happen.
Nade after nade. It's good damage. AX being able to find opportunities to fight on their terms in both matchups we've seen today. Going for the full crash as well. The Rhino maneuver with the vehicles over the top side, hitting heavy onto the Falcons. Now Valo at least with the reply back, good for one.
No.
But the nade on top of the team. Oh, Henry goes down and so do the Falcons. Oh mate, feels like no one really wins there.
To be honest, I think that should have been an AX just wiping out Palo. Plays a risky game, drops a nade at his feet, finds 2 on the knocks. Somehow it happens, Team Secret, Little Boy will go down. That's Jaiki in the back there. This is Team Secret all the way on the northeast side, going out from Yasnaya. Alpha 7 made a big swim down towards the center of the circle. As we said before, Weibo have just not been able to move all that much. Their vehicles are shot. It is Yangon Galacticos still making this one happen, though they lose Say Cloud.
It's nice seeing the energy as well from Team Secret actually into this one. A lot of yelling already from them on the player camps. You can see they're trying to keep themselves fired up. Opportunity to steal away a couple of elims so far. It's put them in a pretty good spot. I mean, you know, Influence Rage, top spot with 6 points, but you're at a close second, still able to build more as well. We've got 4 players alive. Now, off the back of what was a crazy dive in, Order still from a position to find more impact. Team Secret still popping up, and again and again.
Regnum Kaya, they've got it locked down on this western side of the circle. It's such a nice place to be in where you really don't have much competition. They can get involved when they want, playing off from this bridge position. And again, a lot of teams didn't put stock in this, and I don't know why. Regnum Kaya was the only team to make that choice earlier on to pick this one up. And to be honest, it's a bit of a change, honestly, from their usual play. I think that they took their time moving from Grozok a little bit further across towards apartments. A fair few times on these kind of circles, they've been caught out where they move too far and too fast. The circle ends up coming back their way, and then they struggle in the future because of it. And it should have been an easy pickup. Order attempts to make the cross, and that will be one. More in the pocket of Regnum Kaya.
Yeah, the man himself, Silas, on screens, looking to find some impact on this one and build up the elims for him from the position they've got with the cover to play off. Now, Weeboo, been taking their time. Feels like they've been, you know, given a bit of plot armor with some of the fights they've survived throughout this map. And maybe that's about to change. It's a good peek in. Loxy lops them up. Shuts down one. There's the reposition close into the ridge as well. Rest of the squad not really in a position to attempt to trade, but the angles just don't favour you. You've got covered either on that side with the rock face, you've got vehicles to play off of. Toxic with a quick peek, good headshot there.
Yeah, that was nuts from Toshbek. So low though, but need to get that headshot coming through from the Mini 14. Stake 3Z going down, just Sook remaining, our slightly more unorthodox player coming through from Weibo. On that big split they had earlier on. Alpha 7 do make it across, by the way. They've got a heavy amount of damage, but managed to make it happen. Toshbek looking now, but you can see from staying in this spot for a long, long time, resources aren't looking all that great.
Yeah, running low. That's the factor that could come back to bite them the longer this one goes on. I was curious to see if things would keep developing in a good manner for Team Secret as well, as they had a nice little bit of choreography there for a while. They were finding fights where it looked like it was working well. I mean, up to 6 elims, but they've been shot in the back. They do at least still get the knocked player back up, so it's going to be okay to reset from it. That's the last remaining member of E Arena as well, just down towards the coastline there in Joker. Meanwhile, Alpha 7 low here on resources, but can they build back up from forcing out...
What are you doing, Carrillo?
Oh, mate, what's happening? Bladed him.
His initial fight from earlier on versus Influence Rage, and Drang just holding it down in that front line. Diego goes down to pop up from Lil Boy, and he just holds the angle, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of setting this one up where it's like, oh, this could be big for them, force them out, take the position off them, get some gear. Nade to the back of the face. Love that, but let's see if they can save Revo, get him back in the fight. Meanwhile, they're being collapsed upon though. So this is Aura coming in from the top as well, looking to really put the pressure on here. No fear, living up to his name. Nade over the top, burst in air. Aura with the first knock back over. Seems like Silas as well, taking that one straight to the dome. It's a free-pointer. Oh, mate, beautiful work done. We move out in the meantime. Sleep, he has his legs blown out on the nade back over from Alpha 7.
If he hits this. It's so close, bro. That second nade was unbelievable, but Forever was able to make his way down and hit the shot. Regnum Kaya will go out there. 6 elims. I think that was a good game from Regnum Kaya, all things said. They just got themselves into a position where couldn't quite figure out a way to remove themselves from it. Again, I don't think the circle favors them at all here. So I do think it was decent. For Carrillo, yeah, head down focused. Definitely should feel a little bit guilty about what he just did over towards Revo, who was revving up to get a good nade over towards Regnum Kaya earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like you say, if you can at least recover it individually, then it'll be all right. We can forget about the bad times and the possibility of it maybe being better than it should have been. But we'll go from here. You forced out the team underneath, so no one blocking your path. It allows at least a bit of a reset from Hora. A lot invested into that, though. Unfortunately for them, they were hoping it would be way cleaner, right, on the dive in with a third party. You get left with just 2 players. It is going to slow you down. So many nades used as well from them. So back pockets relatively empty, and there's not much to pilfer from what was underneath the bridge.
Yeah, this is such a weird circle as well. You do not see this kind of circle for many, many months at a time. It's a very, very odd one. I don't think I've seen the circle end up around here for a long, long, long time. Pretty much for Thrives or Fireflux do have a big position here purely because they have the ridgeline to play around between one another. It's going to be Horror, No Fear, Alpha 7, Team Secret, and potentially E-Arena who's going to be getting themselves involved with one another. Obviously, the big difficulty though for Thrives and Fireflux is that eventually that ridgeline is going to be useless to them because they're going to have to move over towards that north side.
Well, Horror might have just outlived potential expiry date they've had on this one. No Fear, the last to fall, as Revo will get revenge for the damage back over into the previous encounter towards the bridge. And he can save his teammates. You also have 2 of the Alpha 7 squad alive and kicking, trying to play off each other here. Let's see, maybe they can build themselves back in, have a great start into the second game of the day, and show us the reigning champs have a lot of fight left in them. Team Secret, though, Blanket, I'm curious to see, actually, if they could show up on this one. It's been nice from some of the mid-game fights that we saw them taking, and I love how fired up they look. Like, instantly into this matchup, they're yelling, they're going for all of the good comms. That's not what you want, though. Sideline shot back over, quick trade, headshot onto Revo with a Mini-14. It's a nice knock again. They're feeling the pressure from this position.
It's bad, though. This is the worst time for Revo to be able to find a shot like that. For Alpha 7, they're far into the circle already, but this next one's going to start to push them. And to be honest, in that moment, Team Secret likely wanted to start finding a bit of a foothold in the future. You can see Fireflux here locked into the tiniest ditch available, and the circle is going to continue to push them further inwards. I like the way 4 Thrives is playing this. They've got that lineup, so even if Fireflux are able to send a nade across, they've got way more space to play in, and they are taking advantage of that space as well. So these nades have got to be absolutely sublime from Fireflux.
Had a decent amount of them to work with as well, and you can see how they're setting this up. Good comms on it, slightly staggered with the nades going over. Looking to make sure they can commit onto the knock player just a little bit shallow. It's such a substantial distance, though. Definitely trying to see if they could force out the 4 Thrives members and punish them. Oh, this could be good. Perfect timing. Waits for the peek up. Slap back over, though, Blank. It's not for free. They're actually able to at least get a quick trade onto him, so good heads-up play.
The Bush had a framework made of metal, stopped that buggy in its tracks. The Fireflux ruined by that moment. They really just wanted to get across and start taking shots at the 2 players remaining from 4 Thrives. In the meantime, though, Madcap will go down, as will Scarface, and it's looking pretty grim right now for Fireflux. Alpha 7 and Carrillo as well as Revo, I mean, that is a dynamic duo and a half, and they could make something work out of this game.
Potentially so. There's always a chance. There really is. Fortunately for 4 Thrives, now it's just 1 that has to thrive. That's all that's left for them. And like you say, a bit of a split there. 2 teams in terms of the battle of attrition that do have 3 players alive, but limited resources to play with, and the cover really isn't there for most of these squads. So closing the gap between one another, it's risky. It's all or nothing. You've got to peek in, off your teammates' contact, and commit to those elims. You can't mess around on this one. And Secret looking very agitated, obviously aware of the Alpha 7 position, knowing it's do or die on the peak.
For Team Secret, the lucky thing for them is that they have a lot of hard cover in front of them, and those rocks, as well as the tree line. This is wild from 4 Thrives, but they knew where Ketch was, and they're just looking for 3rd place. It's a smart maneuver. They're going to confirm points. I actually like a team that does that, that takes it into their own. What?
Okay, goodbye Team Secret. That's how that goes, mate. The damage over the top with a nade and the absolute aggression from Alpha 7 that throws us back into a head-to-head 1 versus 2. Revo looking to let it rip on the shots over the top, and there you go. Alpha 7, your reigning champions. They might have struggled on the first game, but they're back. They mean business, and they take that one home.
I mean, that's an apology and a half of Korea. I'm going to win the game for you. I'm going to win the game for you. Trust me, trust me. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I was praising Fourth Rise for the fact that they knew where Ketch was. And they were like, we're going to just secure a 3rd place. We'll leave Noki behind. Then he could try and go for a 2nd or a 1st if he's lucky. And in that moment, I think Team Secret gets so flustered.
Yeah.
These just get torn to pieces. But there was so much opportunity, in my opinion. It's 2 guys from Alpha 7. They're more putting presence and everything behind those rocks. You just send out over towards that hard cover, towards that tree line, instead of sitting behind that vehicle. You have a much better chance towards that late game. And I think it was just that menacing characteristic from Alpha 7 that kept Team Secret in an odd spot.
Yeah, it felt like Secret into that matchup, you know, they had some good knocks from the sidelines where they were able to play off a bit more of a passive position. But by the end...
Talk about the grenade.
Yeah, I know. He's just giving it. He's just giving it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ironic, right? That was the only outcome. Like, you gotta just win it. If you just win it, doesn't matter. We'll be fine. And that's what he does. That's what Alpha 7 do. And you are going to wait until we're back in a few moments' time. We'll see you in a sec.
The defending champions making sure they show up in the first day, and boy did they end up showing up in a big way as they were able to clutch up a win here on the first Erangel of the day. Max, I'm going to be sending it to you right away, and I'm going to be calling you out because you kind of did a bit of a reverse curse on them. You were saying this team is just going to get absolutely eliminated with the rotation that they were doing with that swim play. It ended up working out for them, Max.
If you guys want to know what I was saying backstage while that game was happening, I was just like, no way Alpha 7 win it. No way Alpha 7 win it. No way? Right? Like, I really thought there's no way in hell that swim across Yasnaya Lake was going to work out because you had Influence Rage still behind them. You still had E-Arena, and they lost 2 players because of the rotation. But then the best romance in PUBG Mobile Esports happened in Revo and Carrillo constantly healing each other and just creating space and winning as a duo against full squads. What was that?
I got a little bit more. If you didn't think that swim was the right play, right? I felt completely different to that. What do you want to see from that team in regards to just that play? You don't want to see them swim, then what do you want to see?
So I do like the idea to swim across and get access to that ridge. I think that's a good idea. The timing was a bit off. I would like to see them defend the northern side against E-Arena and Influence, because if they eliminate those 2 teams, maybe they survive as a 4-man team and actually make it to the ridge and have an easier time to get that chicken dinner, maybe even get more eliminations. So I think that clearing the backside was lacking here and could have made that play even easier to execute.
Yeah, I think so as well, but we did have WBG as well in the back there, which added problems to any of the rotations. I mean, it was kind of the lesser of 2 evils, really, because WBG, A7 had a really good position in the beginning of that kind of late phase. That compound was phenomenal for them, controlled a lot of that northern ground. WBG coming in, they were like, not on our watch, you're not. But actually, with A7 swimming across, WBG were actually able to turn the tide and go, actually, not on our watch.
Yeah.
We're going to take you out. So it was a little bit of a back and forth there.
One thing that ended up helping out Alpha 7 was that Regnum Caria was there in a way to stop any WBG push. And I feel like that was the turning point. And then on top of that, Max, or Neptura, we did end up seeing a bit of a third party by Hora Esports, which we weren't too happy about.
It's a little overextendy, wasn't it? They went, oh, we have an opportunity, go for it. Wait, no, nades, help.
I do like the idea of third partying, but you got such an open, flat terrain between their position of Regnum and their own little gas station that you can just play it very passive, wait for them to push out and just nade it, Molotov the position. I don't really care how you want to do it. I think you want to hold that spot to then go fight into 4th rise. But looking at the match rankings here, 20-point bomb here, dropped by Alpha 7 here on their second